Now, your backcourt game is great. But when you get up to the net, I don't know.
Hey, look, Griff, if I had a net game, I'd be playing tennis for a living.
Oh, you do have a net game. You just don't get up to the net fast enough, that's all.
Good morning, Gracie.
Hi.
What are you doing out here?
Gracie, would you forget the keys again?
Oh, it's him.
It's whom?
He's in your office.
Who's in my office?
Leo Pendleton.
Who's Leo Pendleton?
The Leo Pendleton.
Oh, that Leo Pendleton.
Oh, come on. Didn't you hear the news on the radio this morning?
We've been playing tennis, I'm sorry.
Well, he's been here since 9 o'clock. And I don't know who's more scared, him or me. Here, I...
You're out on bail now.
Yes, just a couple of hours ago. Chuck Collins, my attorney, arranged for it. And he also strongly recommended that I come to see you, Mr. Griffin. He would have brought me himself, but he had a case in court this morning.
Well, Chuck's opinion of me may be a little bit exaggerated if this newspaper account is accurate.
It says here that your fingerprints were found all over the knife. Is that true?
Yes, but I didn't kill her.
Mr. Pendleton, a few minutes ago you said you didn't remember killing her. There's a big difference.
But I couldn't have. I had absolutely no reason.
Were you in love with her?
I hardly knew her.
All right, now. Exactly what do you remember about last night?
You know, I always wanted to see one of those movies, but I was always afraid to without going with someone.
Well, after the first few minutes, they really become quite a bore.
Ah, but the first few minutes.
Now, I'm sorry I let you talk us into going. I wouldn't want to be accused of corrupting your morals.
Leo, I had a wonderful time. And I can't think of anyone I'd rather have corrupt my morals than you.
I really have to be going.
Not Lucy again. That's why you have a housekeeper. Besides, us 7-year-olds should be fast asleep by now. She'll never know.
Well, it's not just Lucy. I have an early morning flight to Washington. Pentagon stuff, and I should study my presentation.
Well, you can brush up on the plane.
Karen, you can't brush up on $100 million worth of top-secret proposals.
Well, something else, is there? Is it me?
Of course not. It's just that... Oh, we've only known each other a couple of weeks.
Leo, when I went to Matchmate, they promised me more than a bunch of casual dates. I've had those. I signed up because I had hopes of something better. I thought you did, too.
I signed up because I can't afford the luxury of a social life. Between my company and my daughter, I just don't have time for the normal dating rituals.
Stay with me tonight, for us. I'll make the martinis and you put on some music, okay?
Is that all right?
Mm-hmm. It's fine. Us.
It's very good.
I want to get into something more comfortable. I'll be out in a minute.
Anton, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it.
All I do know is that I did not kill her. I need you to prove my innocence. Mr. Griffin, you have to understand that I've spent most of my adult life building up my company. I've made a great deal of money, and possibly because of that, I've never been an overly social person. My workload is enormous, and my little girl deserves the rest of my time.
Is that why you went to this computer dating service?
Matchmate.
Yes, Matchmate.
After my wife died, I didn't date for years. But lately, as my daughter's been growing up, I'm realizing how desperately she needs a mother. I was hoping that Matchmate might lead me to something permanent.
Well, it led you to something all right into a murder.
I fail to see how that follows. What does this dating service have to do with Karen's death?
Well, what Mike means is that obviously somebody killed Karen Lacey. If not you, then someone with a very strong motive. Perhaps a rejected lover. By the way, did Karen ever speak of a Rebecca Wilde?
I really don't know that much about her past. All I do know is that I did not kill her. Mr. Griffin, my little girl is 7 years old. She doesn't know anything about this yet. So far, my housekeeper has managed to keep her away from the newspapers and the television. But sooner or later, she's going to hear it from someone. I'm all she has. Something like this could shatter her. I need you to prove my innocence.
Well, we're tied up at the present investigating the death of the concert singer, Rebecca Wilde. But we'll try and take care of you two. Could there possibly be a connection between Rebecca's death and Karen's murder?
Yes?
Miss Marlowe, Mr. Griffin to see you.
Oh, yes. Ask him to come in. Mr. Griffin, I'm Marietta Marlowe.
Miss Marlowe, thank you so much for seeing me on such short notice.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Would you like some coffee?
Yes, that would be very nice.
Black?
Please.
I don't have to tell you, this dreadful business with Karen and Leo Pendleton has depressed me terribly. I want to help in any way I can.
That's very nice of you. Oh, then I'll come straight to the point, Miss Marlowe. I need a list of the names of any other men who've been in contact with Miss Lacey.
Oh, dear. After just saying I want to help you in any way I can, I find myself in the embarrassing position of having to refuse.
Why's that?
Well, we're a very exclusive service, Mr. Griffin. And our position is rather delicate. Our clients expect anonymity.
Miss Marlowe, my client is in very serious trouble. And you've no idea how helpful you could be if you'd give me the list of those names.
I'm sorry. Really, I am. But I have a moral obligation to protect my clients. You see, the forms they fill out contain some very personal information.
I'm not looking for case histories, just names.
I don't want to be difficult. I've cooperated fully with the police. Now, if they choose to give you the names you want, I certainly can't object.
Well, I think I've got... Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right, George. Come in. This is George Bates, our computer programmer. This is Mr. Griffin.
How are you?
He's a private investigator.
Oh. Well, is there a problem of some kind?
He was asking about Karen Lacey.
Yeah, that was tragic.
Did you know Miss Lacey?
No, I never met her, or Pendleton either, for that matter. But I don't know, somehow when you process their forms through a computer, you get a feeling about people.
You just asked if there was some sort of problem. Why do you think I'm here?
Oh, I just thought...
Oh, I think what George means, Mr. Griffin, is that occasionally we find that a client has been less than honest with us.
Oh, when he says that he's not married when he really is.
G-I-G-O.
G-I-G-O.
Oh, that's computer parlance. Garbage in, garbage out. You see, we can only program the information they give us. Now, if that information is inaccurate, why...
Don't you check the applications?
Well...
We live in a changing world, Mr. Griffin. The old values seem to be fading away. I leave the puritanical morality to the clergy. Any other position would be far too time-consuming.
Was Rebecca Wild also a client of yours?
No.
Well, thank you, Miss Marlowe. Thank you for the coffee.
It's been a pleasure.
Goodbye.
Mr. Bates.
Yeah, she went out a lot. Karen Lacey was a good-looking broad. What'd you expect?
What about some of the guys?
You mean Pendleton?
No, before Pendleton. Anybody in particular you remember?
Guys, that's all. They came and went.
Any of them ever spend the night?
What do you want, a scorecard?
Why'd you keep one?
Can't tell the players without.
No, what I'm looking for is somebody that saw a lot of her in the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, there was this black limo.
I don't suppose you happen to remember the plate number.
Don't have to. We keep a record for security. But I couldn't show it to you. It's confidential. People around here, they remember things like that. Around Christmas time.
Merry Christmas.
Hi, sir. Can I help you? Sir?
Oh, yeah, hi. How are you?
Oh, just dandy. I know, you're thinking of a vacation trip, right?
Mountains.
Foreign or domestic?
Whatever.
Well, I have a variety of tours.
Actually, what I need is a little information first.
Well, that's what we're here for.
I'm checking on Karen Lacey.
Are you police?
No.
You with that other guy?
What other guy?
That guy that gave me this.
Oh, man. He really did a number on you, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he should have. He was 8 feet tall.
8 feet.
Listen, honey, what is it you want?
Well, I'm checking up on the guys that knew Karen.
Well, then, he's your man, the big guy. He came in here about 2 days ago asking about Karen. It was her day off, and he wanted her home address. Well, naturally, I didn't give it to him, but that's when he, So, what could I do?
Do you have a name, this big guy?
Well, not that he told me. But you find that guy, and I bet you find the guy that killed Karen.
Did you tell all this to the police?
Well, yes. They took my complaint, but I don't think they'll do anything about it. I mean, as far as they're concerned, they already have their man.
Oh, you don't think Pendleton killed her?
Well, I suppose it's possible. But I don't know. He was such a nice guy. You know, good-looking, polite. He really didn't strike me as Karen's type. But then you never know about those things, do you?
No, you never do you?
Did you know a Rebecca Wild?
No, but Karen did say they were friends from back east. Used to work together in Baltimore, or so Karen said.
Well, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your help. I'll tell you what, maybe you can arrange a little trip for me sometime.
To the mountains.
Wherever.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, sir. What were you doing spinning around in Karen's apartment?
Hey, look, I don't want any trouble.
And that travel agency I was following.
Yeah, I had noticed.
You tell me what happened to Karen or I'm going to tear you.
Hey, look, really, I think you're... No. Hey, look.
Well, I didn't realize Karen Lacey was married.
Neither did she. She run out on me a couple of years ago.
Oh. Well, Mr. Lacey.
And it's not Mr. It's Sergeant. U.S. Army. I'm stationed at Fort Meade.
That's near Baltimore.
Yeah. That's where I met her. 3 years ago. She was working as a waitress at one of those joints on Baltimore Street.
Oh, yes. On Baltimore Street.
Look, I know what you're thinking, but Karen, she was different. That's why I married her. I thought I was keeping her happy. One day she was gone, just gone, that's all.
How did you find her?
A buddy, he was on furlough here.
Mm-hmm.
He saw her in that travel agency. He called me long distance. I got the next plane out. That was Tuesday.
Tuesday. That was the day before your wife was killed.
Look, I had nothing to do with that.
Sergeant, you were in that travel agency. You forced that Miss Cheswick to tell you where your wife was living. You were waiting for her. And when she came in that night with Leo Pendleton...
You're a liar!
You saw your wife with another man.
No, she gave all that up.
She gave up all what?
You gotta understand. Down deep, she was good. Sure, maybe she was screwed up inside sometimes. But she was my wife, and I loved her.
Where were you Wednesday night?
I hit a few bars.
Where?
They all look alike. Are you calling the police?
Part of the job, Sergeant.
I have that other report for you. Karen Lacey, known to Baltimore authorities as a B-girl. Worked the gin joints downtown. 10 arrests for soliciting dating back to 1966. Married Sergeant Joe Lacey 3 years ago. Left the area 2 years ago. Present whereabouts unknown.
You still holding Sergeant Lacey?
No. A couple MPs picked him up about an hour ago.
Poor guy. Bonnie, what do you know about Matchmate?
The dating service?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've been in business about 2 years. The woman who owns it used to be a fashion model, strictly first-class connections. Why? Why do you ask?
Well, I was trying to figure out, since when does a woman like Karen Lacey need a computer dating service to help her meet a man?
Well, I'll tell you since when. Since she came from back east, hiding out from her husband. Look, Griff, she signs up, she meets a few guys. If they're interested, she hits them up for a few bucks. Next thing you know, she's using the dating service to build up a regular clientele.
No, I can't buy that.
Why? Why not?
Can't buy it.
All right. Take Pendleton. Now, he's a pretty straight guy. Big, important job, but a little naive when it comes to the women. All of a sudden, she demands a fee. And this doesn't work too well with his ego. So he goes crazy, grabs a knife.
Boy, come on now. What are you doing? Are you practicing to write articles for psychology magazines?
Griff, they found him with the body. Her blood was all over him. His prints were on the knife. Now, what else do you want? An eyewitness?
No, but I would like a list of the men she'd been dating.
We checked them already.
For alibis. I got something else in mind.
All right, I'll give you a list. Here. McGriff, something right here tells me that Pendleton is my man.
Now, the way you eat, I need something a little more reliable.
Thank you. To a productive luncheon, Mr. Griffin. I find you a difficult man to understand.
Why?
Well, I'm sure you don't approve of me.
Oh.
And yet here we are, sharing an intimate lunch. If I wasn't so sure your interest in me was professional, I'd be very flattered.
Whose profession, Miss Marlowe? Yours or mine? You used to be a fashion model.
That's right.
How did you get to be with this matchmate? How did that come about?
I was doing some contract work for a fashion magazine, and George Bates was running the computer for their subscription sales. I don't know whose idea it was at the time, but it seemed like a logical combination of talents. I had the so-called glamour and...
Still do.
Oh, thank you. And he had the technical skill.
I don't want to sound like a moralist, but do you ever have any second thoughts about the propriety of what you're doing?
Well, I grant you it's a shame some people don't have the time or the emotional security to develop their own private lives. But a need for our service does exist.
Try telling that to Leo Pendleton.
Bad apples like Leo Pendleton are the exception, not the rule.
Bad apple exception? What makes you say that Leo is the problem?
But look at that man. Approaching 40, almost monastic since his wife's death. Why, there are thousands of Leos running around loose, and a percentage of them are potential sex criminals.
There are thousands of Karen Lacey's running around, too. Except that on the police blotter in Baltimore, they've added one word after her name. Prostitute.
Oh, that's absurd.
Check it out with Captain Marcus.
Mr. Griffin, you must believe me. I had no idea. I mean, there's never been anything to indicate. I just don't know what to tell you.
Why don't you start out by telling me a little more about Matchmate?
You look gorgeous, but I still like you better in jeans.
Welcome to the club.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, they'll jump at him.
Very funny. I don't need a computer to get dates.
You better get more than just a date.
Did you get that list of names that Karen Lacey dated?
Yeah. 12 names. We're going to have to check them out to see which one she actually went out with.
Oh, well, here's one you can verify right now. The limousine license number that Mike got from the garage attendant at Karen Lacey's apartment belongs to a Gerald Llewellyn, Oakcrest Drive, Encino.
Let me see that. Did you double-check this? Is it accurate?
Well, motor vehicles hasn't crossed me up yet.
His name isn't on this list.
Why, who is he, Griff?
President of a Beverly Hills bank. Big political man of the state. I've known Paula and Jerry Llewellyn for years.
Wade Griffin Investigations. Oh, yes, Miss Marlowe, he's right here.
Yes, Miss Marlowe.
Oh, Mr. Griffin, I'm so glad I caught you. I wanted to dig a little deeper, so I asked George to pull the names of the girls we supplied to Leo Pendleton. I managed to reach one of them by phone, a lovely young girl named Penny Coyle. I think before you get any more involved, you might have a talk with her. It seems your friend Leo Pendleton isn't quite the innocent victim he claims to be.
Miss Coyle, you did go out with him, didn't you?
Yes, sir, I did. One time.
But would you please tell me why you feel this way about him?
Mr. Griffin, the man terrified me. The things that he said to me. He is one sick man. Now, that freak ought to be put away where he can't hurt anybody ever again. Now, please excuse me.
I talked to Penny Coyle, Mr. Pendleton. She told me all about the date you had with her.
What are you talking about? I already told you, I don't even know Penny Coyle.
You got her name from Matchmate. You went out with her last month.
Her name may have been on my list, but I never went out with anyone but Karen Lacey. Mr. Griffin, what exactly did she tell you?
Well, she told me some rather interesting things, Mr. Pendleton. That you had made some lewd and indecent proposals to her. She referred to you as a sickie, a freak.
That's crazy. I don't even know the woman. You've got to believe me. She's lying. But why?
Yes, why?
Wilson. Alan Wilson. And how did you learn about Matchmate, Mr. Wilson?
Well, I heard it being discussed in the executive cafeteria. I really don't remember who it was now. Does that matter?
Oh, no, I suppose not. I see here that you're a design consultant?
Yes, we do quite a bit of government work. Space program, aircraft development, things like that.
Oh, I'm impressed. Judging from your salary figure, you must be a very successful young man.
Well, thank you very much. I try hard.
Unfortunately, though, at the expense of your social life, right?
Exactly. How did you know that?
It's my business to know that, Mr. Wilson.
Well, that's why I'm here.
Well, we have a special executive program for gentlemen such as yourself. I think you'll be quite pleased with the results.
You know, I don't want to sound crude, but how much is this going to cost?
Cost? Oh, well, cost is a relative term, Mr. Wilson. We do charge quite a bit, but then that's for your protection as well as our girls. That assures us of a clientele that is, shall we say, above reproach.
You know, a man in my position does have to be very selective.
Right. The girls who participate in our executive program will meet your requirements, I'm sure. These are girls who are looking for not merely companionship, but personal relationships as well.
Hey, Griff. It's been months. Where were you last week? I could have used you for the tennis tournament. They teamed me up with old Duffy.
Oh, yes, I heard. I've been awfully busy.
How about joining us? We're only a threesome. We're going off in a couple of minutes.
Jerry, we have to have a little talk.
Sounds ominous.
About Karen Lacey.
What are you talking about, Griff?
Now, Jerry, don't try to con me. I know all about it. I'm sorry.
I'm doing the first tee.
You just don't walk away from something like this, Jerry. Someone killed that girl, someone with a motive. Now, you talk to me, or you talk to the police.
All right. I was seeing her. I was a bad boy, but I'm not involved.
You're involved. A girl has been killed, and you're involved, Jerry, whether you like it or not. You're a very prominent man in this community. You're a banker, a political fundraiser. You're being touted as a candidate for statewide office. Did she threaten to go to the newspapers? I don't need a road map. I can tell by your face what's been going on.
Then you should understand why I can't cooperate.
No, I don't understand that at all. Karen Lacey was murdered. An innocent man may go to jail. All because you knuckled under to some kind of extortion. Now, if you'd come to me, if you'd gone to the police, that girl might still be alive.
But my career would have gone down the drain.
Well, if you put your career ahead of a girl's life, even a girl like Karen Lacey, I guess you're not even half the man I thought you were.
Griff, don't do this to me.
I'm not trying to hurt you, Jerry. I'll help you. If I can. But you got to level with me. What was it? Tapes? Letters? Pictures? What?
All right, Griff. Come on back to the office with me.
Well, I can see why your friend Llewellyn kept these locked up in his safe.
Jerry told me that she drugged him just as she drugged Leo Pendleton.
Yeah. While he was out of it, somebody took these pictures, huh?
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're just the prints.
Which means whoever had the negatives has been putting a squeeze on, huh?
Yep, $3,000 a month.
Whew, that's steep.
Coffee break.
Well, do you think Rebecca's death is linked with Karen's murder, or is it just a coincidence that they were friends?
Mike, I've never been one to believe in pure coincidence.
Could Karen have been blackmailing Rebecca? Maybe it was something from her past.
I've thought of that possibility. But first, we've got to find actual cause of Rebecca's death. These are the pictures, and you're not going to see them.
Who said I wanted to? That's not exactly my idea of a good time, you know.
Gee, I'm glad you told us.
Did what's-his-name get a date list for Matchmate?
Penny Coyle's name is right on the top.
Okay. All right, Gracie, you check out all the other girls, huh?
Sure. Did you call her yet?
I'm having dinner with her tonight, Nosy.
Mike, take it to the Black Watchman. Oriole's on duty tonight.
Okay.
Eh bien, monsieur, mademoiselle, I trust everything was in order?
Superb, thank you.
And for the young lady, perhaps an aperitif?
No, thank you. I couldn't touch another thing.
And the food, it was satisfactory?
My, it was grand. You tell that cook I just adored everything.
Mademoiselle is most gracious.
Thank you.
Bonsoir.
Oh, wait a minute, my keys. I must have left them back at the table. Honey, why don't you wait for me in the lobby? I'll be right back, all right?
Oh, all right.
Ah, monsieur, have you forgotten something?
She says she's from Nashville.
Ridiculous. New Orleans, born there, right through high school. She got that far. I also heard a year or two of Chicago. It's worth checking.
Did you get the prints?
I'll get this to Griff within the hour.
Thank you, Ariel.
Oh, such a smooth thing for such a friend as Wade Griffin.
Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. I thought I was supposed to do that.
Well, I know where everything is.
You know, come to think of it, I do know some people back in Nashville. Maud and Abe Purdy used to own a drugstore down on Firestone Boulevard.
No, I'm sorry, I don't
How come you know Firestone Boulevard, the main drag south of town?
Oh, well, I know Firestone Boulevard. What I mean is, I don't think I know those folks you're talking about. What's their name? Purdy?
Well, yeah, that's too bad. Could have given us one more thing to talk about.
If you came to talk.
Yeah, but look, I'm only a guest. Hostess picks the games. You forgot to spin the bottle.
Did I?
Tell me something. What does a nice girl like you need a computer for?
To find a nice boy like you. Oh, Alan, would you freshen this up for me? Yes? Yes? Oh, yes, I see. Right, I'll do that. Thank you.
I made this one light. I don't want you conking out on me.
Alan, I am afraid that I am going to have to conk out on you, darling. That phone call I just got, it was really bad news. Now, do you think you could be a sweetheart and we could make it some other night?
What?
Because I really did have the most wonderful time, and you have my phone number, right?
Yeah, of course I have.
Thank you. Mwah, you're a sweet boy. Good night.
One of the girls on Mike's list is a Rita Wells. For an unemployed actress, she sure has got a fancy address.
Oh. Well, good morning, lover. You survived the night. How did it go?
I blew it.
What happened?
I don't know. I was doing fine till the phone rang, and before I could clear my throat, I was out in the street.
Do you know what was it called?
No, but when I got back to my car, I noticed somebody had gone through my glove compartment. So whoever it was probably saw my real name on the registration and called her up. All I know is she was pretty shook up about it.
Well, of course, she had every reason to be. Oriole was right. New Orleans police confirm a record of prostitution starting at age 16, and the returns aren't in yet from Chicago.
Oh, it makes two of them. Karen Lacey and Penny Coyle.
Wait a second, there may be more. I've started to check the rest of the girls on the list. 2 of them came to L.A. 2 years ago at about the same time Matchmate was getting started. One of them is a fashion model who got her job through Marietta Marlowe. The other one lives at the Crestview Apartments. And you'll never guess who pays her rent.
Look at this. It's too good to be true.
Oh, I see what you mean.
19 years old.
Fantastic.
Miss Marlowe, Bates, your receptionist told me you were having lunch out here.
Mr. Griffin, you'll have to excuse us. This is a business lunch.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just take a moment of your time. I thought I'd tell you that the police are checking that list of special girls.
List? What special girls?
Oh, girls like Karen Lacey, Penny Coyle. The criminal code calls them prostitutes.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, I don't know anything about this list you're talking about, but if these girls lied about their background, that's certainly not Miss Marlowe's responsibility.
What is your responsibility, Miss Marlowe? Blackmail? Murder?
You'd better explain yourself.
I have some pictures here which might help explain it better.
Let me see those.
Where did you get those?
You have a very neat setup here, Miss Marlowe. Very neat. Lonely men, wealthy bachelors, wife cheaters, wealthy ones. A stable of professionals, a rendezvous, somebody with a camera, and you have the victim right where you want him. How many more men are you blackmailing?
I'm going to have to insist that you leave us alone, Mr. Griffin.
How long do you think you can keep them quiet? Penny Coyle and the others. Sooner or later, they're going to figure out what really happened to Karen Lacey.
What have you been doing?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Don't look so innocent, George. That bedroom in the photographs, that's your beach house, isn't it?
Is it?
Oh, you fool! But don't you know what you've done? It's taken us 2 years to build up this business, bringing in girls from all over the country.
And what business do you think we've really been in? Don't you know while you've been making nickels and dimes, I've been making a fortune?
Wait a minute. You killed Karen.
We did. You're in this just as much as I am. And I'll tell you something else. You and I are going to do whatever it takes, and I mean whatever it takes, to make sure Griffin and his associate remain permanently silent.
Yeah, Mike. Oh, she did, huh? Where is this beach house? I don't like it.
What was that all about?
Penny Coyle invited him to spend the weekend at a beach house up the coast.
You don't like that, do you?
No, I don't like it.
Oh, Mr. Griffin, please, I have to talk to you.
Come in, Miss Marlowe.
Thank you.
Please sit down.
Today at lunch, when you showed me those photographs, I was in a state of shock. The idea that Karen or any of my girls would...
Your girls?
Yes. Oh, you were right. I brought those girls to California. Karen, Penny, the others. I know you don't approve, Mr. Griffin, but I provide a service men have willingly paid for centuries.
I really don't want to discuss moralities. You started saying something about pictures.
Oh, as soon as I saw them, I knew where they were taken. That bedroom. It's in a beach house owned by George Bates.
Hey, why don't you go in there and look at the view while I throw on some jeans?
Ready?
Make yourself to home.
Okay.
Well, I've always wanted to be in pictures.
What?
Where you hide the cameras?
Well, now, what's that supposed to mean?
It means, Penny, that Mr. Murdoch is a very observant young man.
George.
That's right. You know, you and Mr. Griffin have been very annoying. You should let it be. You know, Karen Lacey isn't worth it.
You got a lot of problems, Bates.
No, only two, the way I see it. You and your boss. You're here, and he should be on his way.
Yeah, well, I think I can see another problem. Right, Penny?
What?
Well, don't you know when you're being set up? Oh, Georgie here's been raking it in for months now. But he had to kill Karen Lacey to protect himself. Now you're going to watch him kill me. Where do you think that leaves you, huh?
That's about enough out of you.
Why did you kill her, Bates?
Why don't you shut up?
Did you find out what you were doing? Want a little piece of the action? Huh?
Well, I kept Marietta in the dark for 2 years. Why should I share the profit with Karen? She was a tramp.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to start sharing it with somebody because this is becoming the worst-kept secret in Los Angeles.
Georgie, I think I'm going to split now because I did what you wanted me to. I got him here.
No, you're going to stay here.
I never expected anything like this!
Bates! All right, hold it, Murdoch. I'll take care of her later.
He tried to kill me!
Where's Bates?
He's down there! He's got a gun! He's chasing your friend!
Raise that one more inch, you're dead.